And it says we are live. That means I'm here. That means you're beautiful. And that means it's time for GotBot Goes Live. I, of course, am your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, a.k.a. GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share. Of course, subscribe. And while you're at it, loud of my baby, hit the notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. And it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that in the description down below. Also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring. Or, of course, hit the join button, baby, right here on YouTube and become a channel, a member. And we have some news for sure tonight. Last week, while the show was on, it broke that Haslab unveiled Deathsaurus. My immediate reaction was, that's disappointing. I was really hoping for Deathsaurus to be a mainline, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the math and whether or not it makes sense and why it's priced the way it is and why this is done a little bit. We're going to talk about all of the kind of information and reveals and news coming out of London ComicCon. We're going to talk a fair amount about Earthspark, which is premiering very, very soon. We're going to talk about some stuff from threezero, and we're going to talk about some stuff from Studio Series, and we're going to have an interesting, I don't want to say discussion, but we're going to touch on a couple of interesting things. One is going to be some things, some notes, just to think about as it relates to Studio Series 86 Ironhide. And the other is a bit interesting because it's going to relate to some wholesale pricing and kind of the markup that that distributors have, and then the retail markup. And it'll be interesting, but it's kind of telling about why I have a problem with something like Pulse, right? It'll be sort of telling there. So let me get everything set up here first, and then we'll get into it. I was hoping that I was going to have some items for tonight's unboxing. They did not show up, unfortunately. And while there was something I could have picked up, it was going to have to come from Toys R Us. And I can't bring myself to pay those prices. I can't, not unless it goes on sale. That's too much, Bob. That's too much. Let's kind of get things set up here a little bit. Bear with me. I hope you guys are having a tremendous week. Mine has been a bit of a tumultuous week. I'm not going to get into it, but real life, real work stuff is being a nuisance, basically. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Bear with me here, guys. All right, let's go up here and see who we got in the house. Big M, happy to see you. Hey, Marcus. Hey, Tony. Checking out the drive home. Drive safe, Manitoba. Hey, Ultra Marcus. Input. By the way, if my voice sounds a little funny, I've had a little tickle in my throat the last couple of days. Nothing major. Don't worry. I'll be all right. Right. But if you notice it or if I cough, that's why. Yeah, Deathsaurus, right? Hey, Jay, magic comes through for Jay again. That guy found the Legacy Starscream, the Armada one, and he found Beast Wars Inferno today. I'm not saying I'm jealous, Jay, but I'm jealous. I mean, they're not slated to come out here till February, so we might see it. I don't even know if we're going to see it in February. I feel like it might be later. I hope not, though. So you go down here. Hey, Waspinator. Had to work on my truck last week. Glad to catch you. Oh, man. Well, I hope things worked out all right with your truck. Did I miss Ultra Megatron? Oh, no. Ultra Marcus. I thought I missed Ultra Megatronus, too. Hey, Dr. Survivor or Mr. Survivor fan. Glad I got here in time. Gonna be busy for the next 3 weekends. Oh, moving into a friend's place. All right. Yeah. Real life, man. Real life, right? It gotta be what it is. Hey, Sean C. Yeah, I'm a bit jealous there, Jay. Let's see. Months of work has come to an end. My latest stop motion rendering as I watch. Nice, Ultra Marcus. I wish I could get mine done, but every time that I have a plan to work on it, something will come up that eats up the entire day. That's the way my life has been. Like I had a plan yesterday and today to really dig deep, and it didn't work out. I had something else come up with my real job, with real life. Though I was home, came up with real job with real life, and that had to come first. Hey, Mike. Shattered Glass Magnus came to love it, right? Got the X Transbots Inferno too. Great. It's big and got weight. Well, it would, right? Because it's X Transbot. So I guess I assume it's MP scale. Let's see. I'm glad it does, buddy. Thu and GotBot. Yeah, I saw that Thu was doing that, but his was earlier, right? I'll have to go back and catch that. I didn't get an opportunity, but I'll have to go back and catch that too. Your mom got a full year Paramount Plus yesterday, so I'm going to be able to watch Earthspark November 11th. Yeah, we don't have Paramount Plus here. It's not a thing. I'm hoping it's going to be on Teletoon. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how we get it up here up north. All right, let's dive into it. We're 6 minutes in. Let's kind of kick things off in a big way with Haslab Deathsaurus coming out at $179.99 US, $180 US, which is the same price that Victory Saber went for. Now, when I backed Victory Saber, I was able to come up with about $150 worth of value, and that stretched it a bit, but I was able to come up with it because we did get not just the stand, we got two characters, one being a leader class, one being a Voyager class, apparently. And they go together really to give a commander class or a combiner size, basically. We got two Micromasters, and we got all of the kind of extra bells and whistles that you would expect. Plus, we have the Brain of Courage. We have the deluxe class, basically deluxe class, just Saber. So there was a lot there. And I said, while I think it's about $30 overpriced US, I backed it because it was the one Autobot leader that I didn't have a version of. All right, I have Star Convoy and I have Die Atlas. So I done it for that reason. Did I feel good about it? Well, for patrons and channel members, I've had a whole Victory vlog series as a part of my Little Dose of the Truth series. And actually, I have a sixth one coming up very soon. I thought I was going to have him by now. It said that the release was going to be winter 2022. As far as I'm concerned, that was last winter because winter starts December 21st. So most of last winter was 2022. Then it went through spring, it went through summer, and now we're into fall. And they're saying now that you should get Victory Saber in your hands before the end of the funding for Deathsaurus. I'm highly skeptical that's going to happen because I haven't gotten any notification shipping. I haven't gotten anything. And I can guarantee you that something that big and something coming from the US to get here before the end of that, it's going to have to ship about now because it's going to take a few weeks to get here. It is what it is. So I'm very skeptical about that. I don't like the idea of them doing another crowdfunding project related to a crowdfunding project without the first one already being in hand, to see the quality of that, to see if in hand you feel like it's actually worth what the asking price was. And I think a lot of Marvel fans could relate because, you know, look at what happened with the Sentinel and Galactus, right? Was it the Sentinel, I think, came first, and everybody complained and said his knees are so loose, the dude can hardly stand up. But then you're already tied into Galactus. Now, I got a problem, as we all know, with crowdfunding a $9 billion company. It's ridiculous. Just put the product out. You should have the confidence that if it's designed well enough, it's going to sell. You're a multi-billion-dollar company. You should know what you're doing and have the confidence in your product. So that brings us to Deathsaurus. And I look at it, and it has to reach 11,000 backers as the very first tier, or whatever, if you want to call it that, the thing that gets it backed. And right now it's at about 56 or so, I think 58, something like that. So it still has a ways to go, but it just opened up in some countries like Australia and I think South Korea maybe, and like a couple of places. We'll see what happens as those numbers as well as the Takara numbers come in. But a lot of people said, oh, look, there's still 40 days or so, and it's already at 5,000. The poor Ghost Rider thing didn't get funded, and it was the whole time. You had an influx in the beginning. It slows down. That's how these things work. Will it fund? I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But if it just reaches 11,000, I'm sorry, this thing stands 11 inches. Now, the last Deathsaurus or Deathsaurus that we had is this sad thing that was supposed to be the core of Lyle Kaiser. I made a custom combiner out of it, and I do have it standing as my Deathsaurus. But this is about 11 inches. Actually, this is about 12 inches, which means the Haslab Deathsaurus is actually a little bit smaller, or, you know, in the ballpark of a Combiner Wars combiner. That puts it basically in the ballpark of Commander class. Now, some have argued and said that the Jetfire is a little bit taller at 12 inches. This one is 11 inches. I assume that the mass is in the body and in the wings, but nevertheless, it's a Commander class. My understanding is in the US, a Commander class retails for $90 at the high end. Okay, cool. $90. I'm not going to give any extra value to the shield on his arm because that's just an accessory, just like the big chest and helmet that came with the Jetfire. I'm not going to give extra value to the sword he comes with. I mean, Jetfire came with 2 blasters to go on his arms, 2 blasters to go on his hands. So they're just accessories that would come with a leader class as far as I'm concerned. Let's look at the 2 chest minions. They are both called Micromasters. We were getting 2 packs of Micromasters for about $10. Now, we have Micromasters that are being given a couple of accessories and they're being sold as core class. My understanding is a core class in the US, like Rumble, for example, is $12. Okay, so we have 2 of these because we have Eagle Chest, Eagle Breast, and Tiger Chest or Tiger Breast. Let's say that that's $24 in value. That's $114 total in value. Where's the rest to get it up to 180? I don't think at 11,000 it's anywhere close on enough value. Nowhere close on enough value to justify an asking price of 180. So we go to the next tier, gets to 14,000. Well, you know, you got a couple of accessories there, maybe $10 of extra value if you want to talk about parts count or whatever. And I still don't think that's enough because it's not close. Let's go to the last one. Now, the last tier I find very interesting. So we have a stand and a display base. Fine, great, $10 because you can go on Amazon and you can buy a display base for $10. No big deal. But then we get to the throne. And I think the throne is very interesting because the throne is very indicative of the exact same problem that it would be doing pretender shells. The throne is so big and takes up so much space in a mold plate that it all of a sudden becomes very expensive. I would say that by rights, a simple throne piece, as big as it is, because it's another 11 inches, should be $20 maybe. I'm willing to bet that by the suits corporate math, they're saying that's another like 50 or 60 right there. And it's the exact same problem with if you did pretender shells. It would make the price astronomical and insane. Now, here's where things get interesting. I think that if you have any chance of this thing being anywhere in the ballpark of reasonably priced, you have to hit at least 17,000 backers. I'm not even thinking about backing it until it's hit 17,000. Not even going to consider it. But here's the kicker. There are people that have done it already, and every one of them that I've read, I can't say every one, but everyone that I've read who've said, yep, backed it, has said the exact same thing. Got Victory Saber, gotta have Deathsaurus. They're backing it because they're thinking with their heart. They want the Deathsaurus, and Hasbro knows that. They said very recently that Deathsaurus was slated to be a mainline legacy release, and it got upgraded to Haslab. I think the only reason it got upgraded was so they could make the throne to go with it, and so they could charge another premium on top of it to have it go with Victory Saber. I don't see any reason why Deathsaurus shouldn't have just come out in the main line. And some people said, well, they probably wouldn't, for mainline, they probably wouldn't want to use the name Deathsaurus, death, right? Fine. You could have called him Deathsaurus again. Leave out the throne. Everything else is just accessories. Boom. Oh, sorry, we do have the metal-eating cannon. I forgot about that accessory. I'll give credit where credit is due for that. That's probably another $10 worth of value. However, one could argue and say it should have just been included anyway for a commander class price. I'm not quite that stingy, even though I'm a pretty stingy dude. I could see a bit of value for that because it is a bigger mold, a bigger piece. So 10, 15 bucks. If you stretch the math, and I mean stretch it and include all the tiers, you might get to $150 in value. You're going to have to decide if you're cool paying a $30 premium because this is a companion piece. If you are, cool. If you're not, cool. I don't know yet, but I know that without hitting at least 17,000 to have everything unlocked, it's not close to being worth it. That's my take on it. That's my take on that. We'll have to wait and see how it goes, but I'm not jumping on it. Not jumping. I can't. But I do find it very interesting that they actually specifically said that it was slated for a mainline legacy release. Let's move on to some of the quick news. threezero, they showed off their M Deluxe Rodimus. Looks great. M Deluxe, of course, is the 5-inch series, so it would go with the Bumblebee, the Cliff Jumper, the Optimus Prime. He looks pretty great. He has a hella set of wings on him, really big backpack, but he is stylized, but it looks really good. Let's see. He is true to character. He comes with 2 blasters that can go together, like to make his long rifle thing. He comes with many hand options, which is neat, I guess, but it seems like a bit of an odd accessory to have so many options of, but I wouldn't complain about it. The red line. We saw some more images, and apparently pre-orders are up for the Prime Megatron, the Prime Optimus Prime, and the G1 Thundercracker, if you're interested in that. threezero also showed off the Revenge of the Fallen Megatron, or a teaser of it. This is going to be bigger. This is going to be just the regular deluxe. That stands about 11 inches, so I've gained about commander class size, or 28.5 centimeters. 53 movable parts. And I can tell you now the deco on the threezero stuff is premium. So he's not going to change it to a tank, but for a robot and an articulated robot and a big Megatron, he will definitely fill the bill. Bit pricey, no doubt about it, but he'll definitely fill the bill if you're in for that. TFCon Orlando is going to be October 20th to, I think it's the 22nd, 2023. What else do we have here? Transformers Beyond Reality, the VR game, is now out in the European Union and Australia. At least it is for PlayStation VR. I don't know about other VR devices. It basically puts you in there. You see the action. You're part of the action, fighting alongside the Autobots. It's already out, I think, in the US, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go over here. No, let's not go over there. Let's go over here. For those who don't know about the Beyond Reality, the VR thing, it's basically you're in the game. It's basically like a first-person shooter. So if you like FPS, then you'll probably like this. BotBots Ruckus Rally 8-packs. They're starting to come out. We saw the Custodial Crew and the Pet Mob Tribes, they're called. So the pet mob seems like it's a bunch of like pet toys and accessories and stuff. The cleanup crew, you have buckets and you have mops. I think there's like a piece of poo. Like it's the weirdest thing, I mean, it's BotBots, right? I do like that they have like some Netflix, I guess, branding up in the corner, and of course now with the show you can relate it to the cartoon characters a bit better and whatnot. So neat, I guess. Mer talked about Legacy Minerva, and he gave her like basically a story about how she came into the Legacy universe now from the Victory one, and she lost her headmaster ability. Not the Victory one, the Super God Master Force one. She lost her headmaster ability. Although, to be fair, while everybody wanted her to be a headmaster, at the end of Super God Master Force, when she became sentient, I believe she lost the headmaster ability anyway. So I'm okay with that. He did mention that, hey, you should look to your red cog because that comes with like a medical device that she's able to use alongside Ratchet. So a whole reason to get red cog. I see what you did there, Mark Mar. I see what you did there. Pushing the old red cog. The Fallen, Studio Series Fallen, out in the US. And he looks pretty good. Actually, that's a lie. He looks really good. I don't know how I feel about the things that attach to the back of his arm, because as you rotate his arm up, eventually it moves pretty good with his arms and doesn't really hinder articulation. But if you really want to put his arm high, it's going to pop out of his arm. I feel like if it was me, I would leave those unattached and fold them in by his waist or something. Here's the killer with him for me. Apparently, he doesn't have a waist. You're a leader class. You're the Fallen, and they couldn't work in a waist? I don't know, man. That seems a little iffy to me, I gotta say. He looks tremendous, and his feet are infinitely better, and he has great articulation. But man, not having a waist seems like a big oversight for the current prices of leader classes. Magic Square Optimus Prime, they're 2.0. I can't remember what it's called. Light of Courage, Hope. I don't know what it's called, but it's their 2.0. A while ago, I said I think that he looks like the best G1 jumping off the screen Optimus Prime I've ever seen, and I stand by that. However, seeing it now, not just in pictures, but with people having it in hand and watching some of the reviews and whatnot, it seems like very little paint. A lot of it is just the color of the plastic, which I'm okay with certain colors. I wish the red was a bit darker. I think the transformation is bonkers, but it's a little too bonkers. And though like the doors open, when they open, it's just robot parts inside. It's not like a molded in seat or anything. And while the hips are interesting, man, when you put them forward and then try and bring them back down, to get the actual like kind of hip skirt out with it is a bit of a nuisance. I feel like he looks great. I don't feel like he necessarily functions the best. As a matter of fact, I feel like the earlier Magic Square functions better than the new Magic Square. Isn't that not the way things are supposed to go? He looks tremendous, but I think you're going to have to be okay with his functionality being a bit And I've heard, though I can't verify this, I've heard that the plastic is thinner than some might like. So buyer beware, I guess. Too bad, because he looked really, really good. We saw images of the G.I. Joe Bumblebee crossover with Stalker. I mean, Bumblebee's basically a Voyager. He was shown next to Legacy Bulkhead. Looks pretty good. Like, he looks all right. I don't have any problems with it. I don't think Bumblebee was the right choice. I think they should have had a Hound head on it. I think that would have made more sense. The Stalker is your traditional like O-ring Stalker. He looks great. I mean, why not? I love the 3 3/4 scale guys. So I'm not against the B. I'm not going to get it, but I'm not against it if you're in for the collab crossover thing. Speaking of Bumblebee, G1 Bumblebee is going to be on one of those 1 ounce silver coins from New Zealand. This is much like the Optimus Prime one. Its value is going to be $2 New Zealand money. It's going to retail for $99 because it's going to be a collector piece. The big thing about this also is, much like the Optimus Prime, it's going to be one of the last pieces of coin minted with the Queen's face on the other side, because of course, as money, once everything gets going, it will become, King Charles' face now, right? So It will become a rarity, not only because it's Bumblebee, but because it has Queen Elizabeth II's face on the other side. What else do we have? We saw more images of Shatterglass Soundwave, and it was interesting because I was like, I feel like he's like 99% white. I think pretty much all of the blue and silver on him is paint. And I'm okay with that because I'm okay with paint. What I'm not okay with is so much white. I'm so nervous. I mean, I want him. There's no doubt, but I'm so terrified about that yellowing. Really, really terrified, especially with what happened with the last Netflix Soundwave, right? So I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm trying to avoid some of the Earthspark stuff, and I'm trying to avoid that. I'll already talk about that. I'm trying to get the little news out of the way, and then I'm going to check in with you guys. Paramount. Paramount is going to be going to Comic-Con Brazil basically in December, and they are expected to show footage from Rise of the Beast. Makes sense because it was stated, and I talked about this last week, that the marketing campaign would really kick off in December. So I guess it's going to start with Comic-Con Brazil and go from there. It's also been confirmed that June 9th, 2023, ROTB will be an IMAX experience. So get ready for that to be not only on the big screen, but on IMAX. If that's your thing. We're going to talk about that in a bit. We saw some images of Perceptor and Magnificus. The only thing worth noting there, because again, this was one of those things where it was like behind the scenes, and it was Evan who had a hand in designing this, along with Takara, of course. And he said that originally the Perceptor Magnificus head was going to flip down into the front of the chest, but it looked weird seeing the helmet of Perceptor in the front of the chest and like the microscope mode and stuff. So that's why they did it to the back. Cool. I'm fine with that. I still think they should have had a flap on the back or some such thing, but it doesn't bother me the way it is. I think it bothers other people a lot more than it bothers me. He did say that he managed to squeeze in the Magnificus head because what he wanted was the like show accurate and then toy accurate heads included when he can for a possible repaint. And Magnificus seems like a great repaint. Yeah, Magnificus should be the first like generation selects offering of 2023. So up and coming, and I'm happy about it. Got that out of the way. Let's go over here. We're almost done now with this. Segway crossing over with Transformers. If you want a Bumblebee scooter, you'll be able to get one. If you want a Bumblebee Go-Kart Pro, you'll be able to get one. Or maybe your Go-Kart Pro needs should be Optimus Prime. You'll be able to get that, and there'll be a Megatron scooter. I don't have a Segway, but cool, I guess. I mean, it looks like with the teaser shown, it looks like it's the Evergreen designs. So you'd have to be cool with like if you want the Megatron one, it's not going to be G1 Megatron. It's going to be Evergreen Megatron. If you want the Bumblebee one, it's not going to be G1 Bumblebee. It's going to be Evergreen Bumblebee. And of course, same with Optimus, right? I don't know. Is that up your alley? I don't know. Let's check in with you guys. I just want to get this in order. Let's check in with you guys first. I know you were saying a lot. Let's go up here and see what is being said here. And then we'll do kind of the last big pieces of news, right? How high up do I have to go? I'm glad, guys. I'm glad my voice seems fine because I feel like I can really, really, really hear it. I think we ended about there. Yeah, we ended about there. Walgreens finally got red alert, and yeah, I saw that, Tony. Like, I find that so bonkers because red alert was like, was it summer? Was it last year? He was here for so long, so I find it so strange. And like, Same with Minerva. Like, she's been here. Now, I did hear, and I talked about this last week, that Minerva was supposed to have a street date official release of October 31st. That's what I heard. Some people said October 30th. So some people have been looking for a long time. However, I really feel like your hunt, at least if you're in the US, is really only beginning now, because she's only supposed to be released now. I hope you find her. Since I got mine, I've only seen one other, and I assume more will come. So right now, local collectors are kind of snapping her up. But if there's extras that certainly show up that are that are there, hopefully I'll be able to help some people out. Let's see. Truck turned out all right. Let's just say I won't be getting any new bots for a while. I feel you, buddy. I feel you. I got some back breaks that need to be done. I feel you. Don't cheap out on your sway bar linkages. I hear you, man. With Hasbro Pulsar shipping and tax, you're going around 200 for Deathsaurus, at least in the USA. I mean, I don't know how it works in the USA. I assumed that included shipping and taxes, to be honest with you. A lot of people have already backed it in Canada, and they say that the total all in Canadian is $285. So, which doesn't shock me, because again, about double, right? Because here now a commander class is 140. It shouldn't be, but it is. So again, same problem, like 90 to 180, 140 to 285. Like, it's the same thing. It's that double. How do you make up that other commander class price, right? Having a Transformers dry spell. But on a positive note, I ordered G.I. Joe Classified Sergeant Slaughter and got notified that he's shipping today. Nice. Old Sarge, man. And the thing is, when you take his stuff off, he actually looks like Sarge. It's great. Victory Saber is a certain vibe, very Gundam, very Braves. Oh, 100%. I mean, Victory Saber is exceedingly Japanese in design, right? And always was. We might be getting him possibly by early 2023 at the most. Yeah, but like, that's not winter 2022. You know what I mean? Now, another Victory Saber note. Apparently, an entire shipment showed up in Taiwan, water damaged, and will not be going out. Those backers who backed from there apparently are just going to get a refund, because their product is ruined. That's a problem as far as I'm concerned. That's a major problem. My buddy just got his Galactus last week. I don't know how the Galactus is. I've heard that the Sentinel had some knee problems, and I really don't know, because I don't follow it that closely, but I'm only going on the information that came my way. I don't do Haslab stuff. Too expensive. If you never know, it will get backed. Plus, the waiting process drives me nuts. I hear you. All of this stuff should just be out in regular retail. By the way, hi, Ultra Megatronus, if I didn't say it, buddy. Yeah. So I said 90, Tony, instead of, you said 79, which is 80, right? I said 90 because some places 90, some places 80. So I was giving benefit of the doubt for the high end, right? Going to be like this figure was going to be in the Legacy line. Yeah, they did it to go with Star Saber or Victory Saber. Yeah, but they did this to be in scale with Victory. Like, that makes no sense. They did this to be in scale with Victory Saber. That's a pack of crap. It's a commander class. It was always going to be a commander class. It could have come out in the main line, no problem, and sold as a commander class. So I don't buy that. I don't buy anything Hasbro says. They're a bunch of liars. If you believe that that's why they did it, then I have some magic beans I'm willing to sell you. Just saying. Lowest commander price was $79, and that was at Walmart.
The price on those magic beans, you should get them before they're
I know, right? It's a real steal of a deal. Eagle boob, tiger boob. I hear you. I always think, like, I know that the translation from Japan is breast force, but it should have been chest force. Let's be honest, right? Hey, Raz, drive safe, buddy. SS Core class are $849 at Target. See, like, I heard $12, right? Like, I don't know where Jay gets these prices from. Like he's magic. Jay's magic. That's all it is. He's magic. Let's see. Go down. I'm skipping over a little bit of here, guys. You guys talking about some of the Orion packs and Alpha Trion sets, and honestly, it's so weird as people are getting them. Like I'm like, oh, I hope you don't have any issues and stuff, right? And some people are getting good sets, luckily. Some people have gotten some bad ones, so hopefully there's more good than bad going out, you know. Next victory will be Haslab won a Road Caesar, Landcross, or Accurate Lyokaiser. I mean, Lyokaiser, I reviewed that. I have an Accurate Lyokaiser now. I don't need to do anything else. I'm cool. I don't do Haslab. Just let it die. Just stop. It's gross. Just stop it. You know, like Archie Bunker said, just stop that. Protoman loves Hot Rod Rodimus Prime, so he'll like that figure. Okay, I don't know who that is, but cool. Hey, Joel. I can see a Selects Dino King from the finished. Oh, yeah. I could totally see a Selects Dino King from that Volcanicus. You know, or because it's North America, they would probably still call it Monstructor, I would guess. I don't know. I have the Fans Project one, so I'm tickled. I love that thing. I absolutely love that thing and the Pretender shells. I've always been smitten with it. And because Combiner Wars is my scale for combiners, like he fits right in. But for those who don't have that, like, you know, let's be honest, Monstructor was actually quite small in G1, so why wouldn't an update be small, you know? I mean, I could see it, I guess. Yeah, Red Cog is expensive here. Now, he was on clearance, which was weird, for like a couple of weeks at $32.99. I couldn't get him at the time. But it's funny. I went to Toys R Us today, and there was 20 Red Cogs, maybe, because nobody's going to buy that for that price. Get real. And that's like the cups. I didn't see any Cliff Jumpers, though. The blue streaks, I mean, they're $45. Like, yeah, I don't know. But we're going to talk about that in a little bit, actually. Yeah, we're going to talk about that article as well. Let's see. As we go down here a bit. His Megatron is apparently super hollow from... Oh, yeah. He was always hollow. I mean, a lot is sacrificed there for the tank. Like, I don't like... Here's the thing. I don't like that as a Megatron. I mean, his fusion cannon is down on his wrist. He has wild kibble and a backpack, and then there's a lot of hollowness. Plus, he doesn't really scale with anything. However, I think he makes a great looking his tank for Baroness or, well, whoever to use, right? I feel like he should have had a his tank driver, but whatever. You know, Baroness, cool. And the Baroness looks weird because instead of painting her glasses on her face, they molded the glasses and then they like painted the eyes in. It's so strange. Hey, Caldeo. You missed me talking about Deathsaurus, and you missed a lot of the quick news. Shatterglass Slicer looks nice. Of course he looks nice. It's Wheeljack. You know he looks nice, obviously. And I'm happy. I know that he should be, you know, an evil Autobot. I get it. But I'm happy that he's a good guy Decepticon. My headcanon for that, plus we need more Decepticons, but my headcanon for that is he was an evil Autobot, didn't like it because Optimus was like trying to stifle his creation, so he went and sided with Megatron because all he wants to do is create stuff, baby. I'm sure that that's me stretching in a lot of headcanon, but I'm cool with that. Hey, Maximal 10. Let's see. I haven't heard of any issues thankfully, with yellowing on Legacy Override. None. I haven't heard any. Mine is fine. I haven't heard anybody else have problems. That's good news. The current Shattered Glass comic series is under. Oh, I reviewed 1 to 5 and tore to shreds. I was like, this is terrible. It is not good. I mean, they don't even talk about embers. Like the lore is established. The terminology is established. You know, you now have Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus, but like you've already offed Blur. Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus, if you know the lore, doesn't have a whole lot of people on his side. Blur and Hound, you know, and you've already offed Blur. I don't know. We all know my feelings on those comics. As we go down here, and I apologize, guys, if I skip like something important. Say, I didn't mind the evergreen designs, but they had some odd and bad choices for Transformers characters to see. Yeah, I get that. What did you miss? Timmy, you missed me talking about Haslab, Deathsaurus, and the math that goes with him, and a lot of little news and notes. We have a couple of bigger ones coming up in a few minutes. And I know I'm skipping some stuff, guys, and I apologize. What kind of magic beans? Baked beans? They'll grow a beanstalk. He's a wizard. You know what? That's what Jay is. He's a wizard. That's how all of his magic works, because he's a wizard. Him and Chris Jericho. Shout out to Chris Jericho. Except Chris Jericho will throw a fireball at you. Do you guys think the new wave of Jetfire and Skylinks will have yellowing issues? No, I hope not. I don't see why. Speaking of Jetfire, I said last week, get him if you didn't. Skylinks, same thing. Skylinks doesn't have as much paint, but Skylinks was about 3 times. Like, whereas Jetfire was about 2 times the mass of a traditional leader class and had a bunch of accessories, Skylinks has less accessories, but he's about 3 times the mass of a traditional leader class. I mean, the value was there for both of those. Easily. Both are tremendous offerings. Just got my Alphatron and Ryan Pax. Better late than never. Seemingly no QC yet. Good. I'm happy to hear it. Hey, Lance. Bent over backwards to find a red cog, and I never even opened it. Oh, really? How come? Did you bring it back, or have you just not opened it? I have Core Class Rumble on pre-order. I mean, I got the one from the 4-pack, and I got the Titans Return. I don't think I need this Rumble. I mean, we'll see, but I'm not feeling a need for him. He looks great, though. Like, he looks quintessentially like Rumble, so I can't fault it for that. As we go down here. I'm okay with Megs being anti-hero, kinda. Yeah, we'll get to that. Skylinks had issues with loose joints, though. Did he? Mine didn't. Mine's perfect. And I never heard of any issues with loose joints on Skylinks. You're the first I've heard of that. Just got by and it ended up... What? In the stack that I'll never open? Wow. I don't have a stack that's never opened. It's all opened. It's just a mess. 3 weeks into the reissue Jetfire, joints are all tight, no yellowing yet. Yeah, well then that's good. Is the Jetfire actually out yet? I don't know, because I got the one when he first came out. So, yeah, it's good about Override. Hey, Grimlock Khan. All right, let's go back. So we already talked about Deathsaurus. I think that if you have any chance at all of that value being anywhere close to 180, it's going to have to reach all of the 17,000 minimum. I don't think 11,000 minimum brings it close enough. And I thought the same thing with Victory Saber. Let's go to London ComicCon next, shall we? So London ComicCon, that's where we found out that Deathsaurus was going to be in Legacy. We saw a grayscale of him. We also saw the Holiday Optimus Prime. I broke that news several months ago, and we all speculated then what it was. I guess we know now. It is Holiday Optimus Prime. the trailer is the Earthspark trailer painted like a candy cane. His ion blaster is also a candy cane. And the Optimus himself is a brand new mold. Gorgeous head sculpt with metallic blue paint. He's basically painted like Optimus was in the Marvel Comics like Christmas special thing. It's going to go in line with the Star Wars Christmas things coming out, like the Chewie. I saw the Chewie. I guess it's cool. It's an interesting mold. It could be used for the Amazon Prime. It could be used probably for, like, I feel like it could be adapted somehow for some sort of a RID 2001 Prime. I feel like I could sort of see that a little bit there. Would need some work for sure. This is a licensed Volvo VNR 300. So I find it interesting that they used an official licensed truck for this Christmas Optimus, but okay, whatever. What else? I think that's about it for the Optimus. Magnificus, we saw the first images. I already mentioned how he's going to be the first selects of 2023. Earthspark, they showed Flip Soundwave. He turns into a plane. His face is all blue. I want his face plate to not be blue. But other than that, he looks all right. We saw Swindle, looks very simple. Again, that was a flip-de-doo deluxe-y, or flip-de-doo like transformation junk thing. But he looks pretty swindly, so I'm cool with that. We saw Deluxe Optimus Prime. Looks all right. But man, what a gigantic backpack. Like, wild backpack. Bear with me a second, folks. Hello. You gotta bear with me. This is my real work. Okay. Hold on. I'm getting a call telling me it's canceled. I want to see what's going to happen at the end of this. Hold on. Because we got a new automated system for doing work calls. It's awful. It's absolutely awful and pretty unprofessional, and it interrupts other things. So I don't like it. Nobody likes it. Thanks for canceling my work assignment. That's professionalism for you. Anyway, I had my real job being a nuisance. All right, let's get back to this. The Optimus, huge backpack. It's like the whole cab is on his back. I don't really like that. We saw Shockwave. I mean, it's Cyberverse Shockwave with a yellow chest. If you don't like the Cyberverse Shockwave, you're not going to like the Earthspark Shockwave because it's the same look as the same dude. But I do think the yellow chest really stands out. I like it better than the purple. So take that for what you will. That is all of that, really. But it wasn't all that we had about Earthspark, which we're going to get to. So I can get that sheet there out of the way. We also saw Warrior Megatron. He looked pretty good. Honestly, I think the Warrior Megatron was the star of the show. I think it looked pretty great. We also saw Thrash, which was a warrior. And at first I was like, oh, I don't like that big arm with the big blaster on it. I do like the motorcycle mode. However, I like that the big blaster can come off and Thrash does have two normal arms. And I also think it's kind of neat that you can sort of, part transform the legs so that how can I do this? So that it becomes wheels. When I saw that, I was like, this gives me like some Beast Machines Rat Trap vibes. So I'm okay with Thrash. And I like the look of the like greeny metallic-y paint. Very Tigertron-ish, right? Very Tigertron-ish. Yeah, I didn't need that accessory. So cool. A lot of stuff was shown there. I think if I was to pick out stars, I guess Deathsaurus was a star of the show. If you're into the Holiday Optimus, cool. But for Earthspark, I think the stars were Warrior, Megs, and Thrash. Honestly, I think they were the best ones shown. We're going to talk about Earthspark after. Let's do this one next. So everybody now is starting to get their 86 Ironhide and going bonkers for it. First, apparently the whole top is clear or translucent plastic painted. I've already heard of a breakage down the center of what I guess becomes his chest. And I think it was transparent. And I could be wrong about that. So if I'm wrong and I'm misquoting there, I'm sorry. But it was somebody, and they've already had a breakage right down the center of the chest. That's sad times. I said in a conversation earlier the week that I'm not against it, but I don't like it. I don't care that it exists. I don't think it looks particularly great. I don't think it looks bad. Like, I think the torso looks cool and fine. I think the shoulders and the forearms look fine. I don't like the little skinny biceps. I don't like the face sculpt. I don't know why he's doing the duck face with his lips like that. I think the legs are fine. I don't like the one-piece hip skirt. And I don't like the feet at all. I don't like that they're attached on the back. It looks awful. But here's where it gets interesting. So, of course, everybody's losing their minds over it. I'm pretty sure that he's going to get the cliff jumper treatment. And he'll have his yellow stripe, and he'll be solid, and he'll be sold and buzzworthy. Just you watch a year from now. I don't think it's bad, though. And I know a lot of people didn't get Siege, didn't get Earthrise. So you know what? Go for it if you want. However, I'm baffled as to why it is a Voyager price. Now, some people said, the engineering and parts count. I'm sorry. I've seen the transformation. It's nothing special. A couple of clever things. There's nothing special, and it's not going. You're not going to sell me on engineering. Just having intuitive engineering, sorry, that's not what should bring it up to the next price point. I did say, however, it's more than a traditional deluxe. So I do think it should be more than a deluxe price. But let's compare it, because everybody was comparing it to these two. And I said, you can't compare it to this. It's a Voyager. These are deluxes. The standard has to be different. It's not that it's in another size class. It's in a completely different price point. So it should be much better. However, here's the kicker. This guy, a lot of people still like the Siege. Granted, the alt mode being Cybertronian is what it is. And a lot of people had issues with these flaps. But on mine, that flap's solid. That flap's solid. I never had any issues with its flaps. 108 grams of plastic. Came with pretty big accessory, great articulation. This is, and probably ever will be, a good Ironhide. Then we had this guy who Jay hates. He said, I hate the thing on the back. I don't even notice it. Don't even notice it. It doesn't fall out. It's solid. It doesn't move. But this is deliberate. Like, this was designed explicitly this way. This isn't a parts forming piece like with Cliff Jumper. This is supposed to be here because this, my friends, is the one box that was used in More Than Meets the Eye Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3 by both Ironhide and Ratchet. He's supposed to have the one box. The 86 loses this feature. Now, some don't want it, and that's cool. That's fine. The guy only came with this little blaster accessory. However, Earthrise Ironhide clocks in at 124 grams. So guess what? Both Siege and Earthrise Ironhide, much more product than the traditional 84 grams of a deluxe. So what is the story with 86 Ironhide? I don't know because I don't have it in hand. But from what I've heard, he clocks in between those two at 116 grams. If he's in the middle of those two in terms of mass, in terms of actual plastic used, I'm baffled as to why he is being charged so much more. Now, in the States, I don't think the difference is so much. However, I got my Earthrise Ironhide for $25 Canadian. The new Ironhide is going to be $50 by the time for taxes, and even more if you're going to Toys R Us. I don't see double the price for the 86. I don't see double the value. I just see things changed out. That one doesn't have feet on the back of the alt mode, but like this one does. But that one doesn't have a one box. That one doesn't have parts forming, but it doesn't have the stripe up the side. So I just see them as lateral changes. I don't think any of them are necessarily better than the other. They're just different takes. I feel like they should all be the same price. Take that for what you will. I think the 86 is fine. I'm not motivated to get it for a Voyager price, but on sale, like Hasbro talked about doing because they need to try and save their company after that big $3 billion loss of value, maybe on sale. Maybe on sale. And to be fair, maybe in hand, my entire attitude will change. But by the math that I know now, while I'm sure it's good, while I'm sure it's going to be redone for Buzzworthy, I also feel like, and I have to say this, I also feel like it's a glorified deluxe. Take that for what you will. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about in conjunction with this, and I'll do this, and then we'll do the trivia, and I'll check in with you guys, and then we'll do the last bit of news, which is going to be Earthspark. Some wholesale pricing. So Holiday Optimus Prime. Let's use Holiday Optimus Prime, okay? He is going to retail in the US for $55.99, going price of a leader class. Here, he'll be $90, going price of a leader class. It's come to my attention that I'll say the wholesale price from a third-party distributor to a retailer here is $57 Canadian. That means Hasbro sold it to a distributor for a wholesale price, and then that distributor put a markup on it and sold it to a retailer. And now that retailer is going to put another markup on it. So that's 3 markups. I would suggest to you that the price US going by that same distributor would be about $41. The cost of production, therefore, for that Holiday Optimus Prime is probably, by the time you take off a reasonable percent markup, the price per unit of that Holiday Optimus Prime is probably about $25 to $28 US to produce. If Hasbro wants to be in the retail market and they want to offer this on Pulse, then I suggest to you that Hasbro should be probably offering this for about $41 US, what they would sell it to a distributor for. They're not. They're selling it for the full retail price of $55.99, which means they're not only double, as I've always said, they're double dipping. They're actually triple dipping. They're using their wholesale markup plus their markup sold to distributors plus the retail markup. Let's take another example. Metroplex, Cybertron Metroplex. Cybertron Metroplex has a distributor cost of $230 Canadian, to be fair. It's retailing here, depending on where you go, for $269 to, if it's Toys R Us, $350. These are big markups. Doing the math back, I would suggest that the price per unit to produce Metroplex is about $110, $115. So selling him for the price he is, again, it's probably fairly accurate for what they're saying the production cost is. But if you're going to do it through Pulse, then you shouldn't be selling it for whatever the going price is of a Titan. You should be selling it for that first wholesale markup. Let's take a deluxe. Distributor price, $27 Canadian. That works out to be about $19.80 US, which means the price of production of deluxe is probably somewhere around $13 US. I went and I looked at a deluxe on Pulse, $24.99 for something that probably cost about $13 to make. A retailer would charge that. I think on Pulse, they should take out the retailer markup. They should take out the wholesaler markup. And quite frankly, they should be selling it for about 19 US, not $24.99 US. You got to look at the price of production and then all of the number of markups that go on. This is why I don't like Pulse, because they're trying to get into the retail market by doing factory direct to consumer, but they're still charging all of those various markups. I don't support it and I don't like it. And I don't think Pulse should exist. I think it's very bad business and I think it's extremely insulting to fans. Right there, proves it. Price of production Holiday Optimus Prime, $57, works out to be about 41 US. Price of production for Metroplex, $230 Canadian, works out to be about 168 US. I think Metroplex is 199 US maybe. And price of deluxe in Canada, 27 from a distributor, works out to be about 19 US. It depends on the final retail markup. Toys R Us is putting on insane markups. Like Toys R Us is putting on markups of like 50 to 65%. Other retailers are putting on markups between 18 and 30%. I think 18, 30% is more reasonable than doubling that again. You got to make that choice for yourself. But I found that the wholesale prices were very, very, very interesting. Let's do trivia. Let's do trivia, and then we'll end the night with some Earthspark news. In the G1 episode, City of Steel, Megatron threatens to melt Optimus Prime down into what? Is he melting Optimus Prime down into thumbtacks? Is he melting Optimus Prime down into paper clips? Is he melting Optimus Prime down into bottle caps? Or is he melting Optimus Prime down into nails? So is it A, thumbtacks, B, paper clips, C, bottle caps, or D, nails? Let's check in with what you guys are saying here. And then we'll end on a high note, right? Gotta go up here a little bit. Hey, Devlin. Sorry there, buddy. Up. I think it was about right here. The online Transformer seems to be ignoring his Energon, like none of those designs. I mean, it'll probably come, I guess. I don't like Unicron Trilogy, so I don't care about any of those. But, I would suspect it will come eventually. I got mine from China last month. Later release of my 2 Cyclonus, now yellowing. That's sad. Got things to do. See you, man. Well, if you got things to do, you got things to do. I also have an original run Siege Jetfire. Very slight discoloration on his shoulders, barely noticeable. I don't have any issues with my Jetfire. I check him kind of regularly because I've heard of stuff, but mine's been fine, luckily. I thought Christmas Prime was a retool of Dark of the Moon Prime. I don't know why. Interesting. The Holiday Primes package reminds me of the Hess brand of gas stations. Every year you would have a new diecast 18-wheeler toy. Oh, yeah. I vaguely remember that. I had Classics Jetfire for over a decade, never yellowed. That's right, because their plastic supplier was a better quality plastic, right? Remember what they said. They haven't changed plastic types in many years, but they have changed plastic suppliers, right? Like you can go out and buy a travel mug, and you can buy a good quality travel mug that's insulated and that keeps your hot stuff hot and your cold stuff cold, or you can go out and buy something that just has a top. They're both travel mugs, but they are not the same thing or the same quality. Same thing here, like ABS or PVC or whatever type of plastic. They're all ABS, they're all PVC, but it doesn't mean that they're the same quality. That backpack, by the sound of it, is bigger than Energon Barricade and Chromia backpack put together. I don't know Energon Barricade, but yeah, bigger than double the backpack of Chromia. If she swear, listen. Starscream wife doesn't even care if she gets something for Christmas. She just loves her family. What a weirdo. Let's see. The Earthspark Shockwave looks a lot like the G2 Action Master Shockwave. It does. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. My wife works online at home, and every day this week her job canceled. She gets an email the night before. It's a horrible company. That's tough. That's really tough. You know, how are you supposed to still have morale when you're treated like that? You know, by a computer system, no less. Hey, Devlin. I was on the fence for 86 Ironhide, but I don't know now. I would. I don't think he's not worth getting if you want him, but I think I would wait for a sale. If you're happy with the earlier versions, I don't think that there's. I don't know. He exists in the world, and I don't care. I'm okay with Earthrise, says Tony. That's another that had the breakage after I told you about the other YouTuber who had it. Really? So that's 2 now. Wow. Ironhide is crap guess. He has to stay in vehicle mode, I guess. But like, I'm not getting it for him to stay in vehicle mode. If you see 86 Ironhide, I'll get it. But if I see it, I'll get it. But I don't mind. I'm fine with it. What I do want is Earth mode Hound. Yes, I want that too. I absolutely do. Love my Siege Ironhide. Wow. Wow. SS Ironhide is being called a Voyager, yet compared to the deluxe Siege Ironhide, same size. Money is desperate for Hasbro. Oh, yeah, they're very desperate. Found Crankcase Dead End and Point Blank. Wow. Yeah, the Wave 3s, all we've had here for Wave 3 is Bomb Burst. Saw a review of the Siege and Earthrise are more weight than the 86 Ironhide. They are, and they were deluxes. So some people get scales for that fun sugar. Dennis gets it for toys. Right? It's also a studio series. Everyone is wanting Galvatron, but looks like studio series Scourge. The Galvatron's okay. But I feel like his chest is very squared and boxy. I kind of like the earlier Age of Extinction one, to be honest with you. I feel like the 86 is more toon, while the Earthrise is more toy. I could see that. Nate. I feel like the 86 needs the yellow line. I really do, and I wish the hip skirt was 3 pieces. Like if I had him, I would have to like get a crafting knife and cut that hip skirt. I'd have to, because it irks me to look at him. I'm not getting Holiday Prime. I'm not getting the Holiday Prime either, but I respect it. I heard it's a really cool transformation. Never bought into the Holiday Prime stuff. Bit late, forgot UK summertime change. Oh, I think ours changes here the weekend. We go from, sunny and happiness to doom and gloom. Look at G-Axis, specific paint apps, 2 weapons worth. Yeah, I said it when I reviewed G-Axis. I said this, same thing with Cyclonus. Like, to me, while people compared the Ironhide to these Ironhides, you can't. It's a Voyager. You have to compare it to other Voyagers. You got to compare it to something that is parallel to it. And price-wise, that's parallel to it. Is this Ironhide comparable to Scourge, to Cyclonus, to G-Axis? If the answer is no, then it's not a Voyager. If the answer is yes, then it's a Voyager. Hey, Terry. Getting ready for Christmas. Starting to, buddy. I only saw Legacy Alita, Red Cog, and Legacy Metroplex. That's it. If I ever put my hands on Holiday Prime, I may customize it. Into what? Want the Holiday Prime? I mean, there's no reason not to if you want the Holiday Prime. I didn't see anybody answer the question, man. Oh, wait. Here we go. B, D, B, C, B, B. Oh, I must have dropped down. The answer is indeed B, paper clips. Yeah, you guys are always so smart with that. I think I can get rid of this sheet now. Yeah. And I can get rid of this. Okay. So let's kind of end the night. Time for me to get out of here anyway. Let's kind of end the night with a bunch of Earthspark news. Now, first things first. We know that it's post-war. And when we saw the like kind of teaser trailer thing, it looked like it might be post G1. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Megatron is still a con, but he seems to be working with Optimus Prime. The kid's mom, the Malto kid's mom, she was in the military during the Transformers War, so that's why she sort of knows about it. It was stated that Twitch is the first drone transformer. Wasn't Transformers Prime Soundwave? A bunch of Discord stuff is coming up here, by the way, if you hear beeps and like notification sounds. Wasn't Transformers Prime Soundwave a drone? Like, I thought he was a drone. I don't think Twitch is, or Twitch is the first drone, but what do I know? Maybe. Robbie and Mo, they have cyber sleeves, and that's what basically somehow emotionally, mentally connects them to Thrash and Twitch. A lot of people call Thrash trash. It's not. It's a TH, the sound. So it was a lot that was in that little, I don't want to call it a clip, a teaser, I suppose. And then we had, as was alluded to earlier, the article with the executive producers, that being Ant Ward and Dale Malinowski. I don't know how to say his name. And already a season 2 has been ordered. Okay, good. And they are claiming that this is going to be a big story with a huge arc and a lot of character development. Now, I hear that and I think of Transformers Prime because you had a huge arc for season 1. Everything led to that Unicron. You had a huge arc with Beast Hunters leading to Predacons Rising. I go back to Beast Wars, and you had a huge arc, that led to humans almost being destroyed and Dinobot being their savior. You had a huge arc leading to Megatron trying to kind of stop the whole war from happening in G1, right? Like, by the way, anybody who says Beast Wars isn't G1, you need to watch it because it explicitly is G1. So I hear a big arc, and I'm expecting that level of storytelling because that's what a big arc is. The Malto family, they're from Philly, and they moved to a small town. Cybertronians, they're just like on the planet Earth, just living there. They have like celebrity status. They're well known. They have like merch and stuff. Like you would see Optimus Prime on late night talk shows. Robbie and Mo's dad is a big Bumblebee fan and like collects all of his merchandise. The series apparently is inspired by E.T., the Iron Giant, and Goonies, which is interesting. Megatron, I think, is going to be an interesting character, or I hope. While he's working with Optimus, he is still a Decepticon, and it seems like he's going to be motivated by his own goals and his own values and beliefs more than being on the side of good or bad, right? It's not good guys or bad guys. It's what motivates him. So I'm hoping he's going to end up being a very engaging character, but we'll have to see as time goes on. Now, here's the big question, and here's where we're going to end things, really, because I don't have an unboxing tonight, unfortunately. Is this canon? Yes and no. It's canon to all and canon to none. Whatever fiction really you like, you could apply this because this is the first piece of fiction really that is specifically post-war. So if the war happened for you in Transformers Prime, this could be seen as a post-war when they come back to Earth. If for you G1 is your bread and butter, this could be seen as post-war from G1. As a matter of fact, we'll talk about that in a second. If Cybertron and the rest of the Unicron trilogy, I should say, is the war to you, this could be post that. Cyberverse is the war to you, this could be post that. However, what's interesting to note is I think it's loosely G1 because when we saw that little teaser clip, we saw G1 Optimus, Bumblebee. I think Elita 1 was there, and I think they were coming off of the space bridge. And it looked like G1. But guess what? Apparently that's not like lost footage. Apparently that's new footage created for the show. That's what I'm gathering. And if that's the case, that's a real nice little nod to G1. A while ago, I was having a conversation on Discord about how I don't like reboots, and I think the whole 40 years should be canon. And the people I was talking to at the time said, yeah, I wouldn't have been in because I came in with the movies, or I came in with this. Yes, you would. If it was well written, if it was well done, you would have just picked up. And you know what you would have done? You would have done what all of us did. You would have said, I'm picking it up here. I got to go back and find the rest. Anyone who's a fan of Star Wars, and, you know, there were people who picked it up with Phantom Menace, and then they were like, I got to go back and watch the other ones. There are young fans who probably picked it up first with the rushed last trilogy. Even with Star Trek, there's so many shows that are part of that main universe. The only thing really that's not is the movies with Chris Pine and stuff. And even that was connected, except they went and specifically went to another universe. But that was in the same universe, the same canon. Doctor Who. I mean, my wife and I picked it up with the 9th Doctor. So what did we do? We went back and we've watched classic Who. Same thing could happen with Transformers. This isn't officially considered to be a G1 canon, but for an old-time G1er fan like myself, I'm going to say, you know what? If this happened in the 80s with the war, this could be 15 or 20 years later in the late 90s, early 2000s, whatever. I'm cool with that. And I hope you are too. And ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We are done here. Woo, baby. I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course, hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel. Especially don't forget that somehow, some way, man, each and every single solitary day, you right there, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres or the old fashioned way. Inside the video. What she said, inside the videos.